I teach for people who are like muggles trying to become wizards. I don't teach for people who are self-teaching wizards who can just be like, oh, I look at it, I know it is, I understand, I can do it, right? Like that, I'm not that person. It takes time for me to practice it. I might understand it, but in theory and in practice are the same. In practice, that's bullshit. Because you appreciate what I consider to be the core of my work, which is concise, precise, descriptive language that can translate the aesthetic to the kinesthetic, or the kinesthetic to the aesthetic. But like that's, in my experience, that is not a commonly embraced mentality in the community. Because the community is still early adopters, and the early adopters are monkey see, monkey do, therefore they don't need the language because they're like, well, here, let me just show you and you'll get it. Which is why, I mean, I've told you the story about how I got taught the weave, right? Oh, it's hilarious. This was the instruction. Well, you just, and then all you do is this. What? Really? That's what you've got for me? That is not educational whatsoever. You demonstrated, but you did not distinguish. That is exactly where the all you do is things comes from. That is why I started, literally that moment in my life informed the rest of my life. I started the school because of that lack of specificity. Okay, I understand this to this, but how do you get from this to this? There wasn't even like well, try this. I mean, even if they had gone, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you alternate between this and this. Even if they had done that, that would have been a huge stepping stone. And then if they had said, even if they couldn't do the 2-beat weaves in split time, like these guys, right, with the right on bottom and the left on bottom, even if they couldn't have done that, just jumping from even having done a crossover would have been helpful, because this to this to this is a huge jump. It's crazy. I get into arguments with people about this all the time because there's a lack of specificity where people will take a term and there's this one term, gunslinger, that was used originally to describe a rollover over the hand. But now people use it to describe a figure eight. I'm like, there is no figure eight in a gunslinger. How can you use the same term? They're like, well, everybody knows what you mean. I'm like, no, everybody doesn't. Well, the thing is, it's self-selecting. If you can't understand them, then you don't do it, so you don't know what it means, so you don't use the term, so everybody who does use the term does know what they mean, because only people who can understand what they're trying to say but not saying use the terms.